Then next thing is appendix. So appendix is something like a worm shaped finger like projection which is going near from the cecum. So this will be saying what are the what are the parts of it and what are the positions of this. Based on that position you have different thing. Then what is this relations? Peritoneal, does it have anything? Then at last we have this arterial, venous, nerve and lymphatics, and important thing here we have a applied aspect of this. So parts of this appendix, suppose this is the cecum. From this posteromedially we have finger like projection, that is vermiform appendix. In general it will be around 2 centimeters, range is 2 centimeters to 20 centimeters. So here we have different parts of it. One thing is this point which is attached to the cecum, that is called the base. This free end is the tip and the middle one is the body. So what are the parts of it? Base, body and the tip. So what is this? Base is the part which is attached to the cecum, tip is the free end and the body is in between the base and the tip. So based on the position of the tips we have different terminology for that. So what are the different terms for this? This is the cecum and this is ilium. So the appendix may be in different positions. One thing is this appendix may go behind into the retrocecal part. So this we are calling it as retrocolic or retrocecal appendix. Sometimes this appendix may go into this beside the colon. That's why we are calling it as paracolic appendix. Sometimes this may go either anterior to the ilium or posterior to the ilium. If it is anterior to the ilium you are calling pre-ilial position. If it is posterior to that we are calling it as post-ilial position. One more thing, it may be pointing towards the sacral promontory, that we are calling it as promontoric position. And other thing is it will be going into this pelvis, so we are calling it as the pelvic position. So whenever the appendix is in pelvic position it will be related with the fallopian tube, right uterine tube and right ovary in the females. And in between you have one more thing that will be going in the mid-inguinal region, so mid-inguinal position. So if you tally this with a clock, how it looks is this is 12, 3, 6 and 9. So what will be in this 12 o'clock position? It will be having retrocolic 3 o'clock, or in between 12 to 3 we have this pre-ilial and post-ilial. This will be for promontoric position. This will be for mid-inguinal, and in between that will be for the pelvic part. Paracolic will be something like this. So that is how they name. Simple thing is just remember, one is behind the cecum, that we are calling it as retrocecal. One is lateral to it on the right side, that you are calling it as paracolic. If it is going on the left in relation with the ilium, that you are terming it as pre-ilial and the post-ilial part, and sometimes it will be going towards projecting towards the sacral promontory. That's why you are calling it as promontoric position. One will be, it will be in relation going towards the pelvis, true pelvis, that we are calling it as a pelvic position. In females it will be related with the right fallopian tube and the right ovary. Then how do you identify this appendix while doing surgery? As you have seen before, the cecum will be having three bands that you are calling it as the tinea coli. So this tinea coli, what happens to the tinea coli? They will be merging towards this. All the three tinea coli will be merging towards the base of this appendix. So one more thing you can write, the tinea coli of the cecum, they will be merging towards this base of the appendix. Then coming to the relations of this, it's a intraperitoneal part, so it will be having a fold of the peritoneum. So what is the fold of that peritoneum called? If it is going to the appendix, we are calling it as mesoappendix, right? So this is a cecum, ilium and appendix. So there will be a triangular fold of mesentery in relation with this appendix. This we are calling it as mesoappendix, which is nothing but fold of the peritoneum. So what is the peculiarity of this? Into that we have appendicular artery which will be going behind the ilium and entering this appendix. While going towards the tip, it gets closer to the tip of the appendix. So here we have a clinical important thing. So as it is getting closer to the tip, if there is any perforation in this region, there are chances of this appendicular artery getting thrombosed, and the part distal to that thrombosis, this gets into a condition called gangrene. So gangrene is happening when there is a obstruction of blood supply to any part of a organ. So here, because of perforation is in the appendix, so because of this perforation that is affecting the artery, so because of that we having the thrombosis of the artery. So when that artery is damaged, the part of the appendix distal to the damage is not getting any blood supply, that will be getting into gangrenous condition. So this is mesoappendix and this is your appendicular artery. So one more peculiarity thing about cecum is, just to remind you, dimensions of the cecum, the width is around 7.5 centimeters, whereas the height is around 6 centimeters. So this is one of the organs in the body where the width is greater than the height of this. So this is for cecum. So in the cecum, what happens is the width, that is 7.5, is greater than the height. Then coming back to this appendix, we have learned that we are having a peritoneal fold that we are calling it as a mesoappendix. Then going back to this arterial supply, venous drainage and everything. So what is a arterial supply for that? Arterial supply is appendicular artery, which is a branch of your ileocholic artery, and ileocholic is a branch of superior mesenteric artery. Then what is venous drainage? Same thing. Venous drainage, it's going into superior mesenteric vein. Then lymphatics, they go to the ileocholic nodes. And coming to the nerve supply, you having two types of nerve supply. One is the sympathetic and parasympathetic. Parasympathetic is via vagus nerve. Sympathetic, it gets fibers from the T10. So T10 peculiarity is it's having same fibers, they go to the umbilical region. So this is important because whenever there is inflammation in the appendix, that is appendicitis, so that referred pain will be going to this umbilicus. Why? Because this sympathetic nerve supply of the appendix is T10 and this is having the dermatomal supply of the umbilical region. So whenever there is inflammation of the appendix, the patient will be saying he has a pain in the umbilical region. Then this pain, it will be radiating towards right iliac fossa. Why it's going into right iliac fossa? Whenever there is inflammation is increasing and it's affecting the peritoneal region, then if the infection is going into the parietal peritoneum, the pain is presenting in the right iliac fossa. So that's about the arterial supply, venous drainage and all. Then what is the applied aspect? Most commonly seen is, what is that? Inflammation of the appendix. We are calling it as appendicitis. So what happens in this appendicitis is, if this is the lumen of the appendix, if this is blocked, that causes distension of that and inflammation and all that causes a pain in the, if this is umbilicus. So pain starts in the umbilical region, that is T10. Then after that, that pain will be radiating to the right iliac fossa. In short, so characteristic feature of appendicitis is the pain begins in the umbilical region, then the pain radiates towards the right iliac fossa. Why in this umbilical region? Because umbilical region and the appendix are having the same nerve supply, that is a T, they are getting the fibers from T10. Then why it's going to the right iliac fossa? Once the infection is getting into the peritoneum, then we have the pain getting into the right iliac fossa, pain presenting the right iliac fossa. Apart from that, the patient says rigidity of the anterior abdominal wall. So if you try to touch that, he'll be having tenderness in that. So here you need to know one more important point, that you're calling it as McBurney's point. What is this McBurney's point? This is a important question. What is this McBurney's point? So if suppose this is your abdomen, umbilical region, this is pubic symphysis, this is anterior superior iliac spine. So if you draw a line, imaginary line joining this umbilical region to this anterior superior iliac spine, and you divide that into medial 2/3 and lateral 1/3, that junction we are calling it as McBurney's point. So what is the importance of this McBurney's point is, whenever you are trying to palpate the abdomen in a patient of appendicitis, at this point the patient feels maximum tenderness, and at this point, apart from that, when you are doing appendicectomy, that is taking off the appendix, they will be giving an incision in this region, in the McBurney's point. That is, great iron incision is given in this McBurney's point. So that is your cecum and appendix. So what is the arterial supply for both cecum and appendix in common? They are getting the arterial supply from superior mesenteric artery. And what is the peculiarity of the cecum? Its width is more than the height. So that is one of the organs which is having more width than the height. What is the applied aspect of this appendix? Most commonly seen is appendicitis. So what is the treatment for appendicitis? That is, we are removing this appendix, that we are calling it as appendicectomy. Appendicectomy. What is ectomy means? Means removal. We are taking off that appendix. Thank you.